Welcome back to Autism Live. I'm so excited right now because in the studio for the first time, we've had her on the show before, but for the first time in the studio, Megan Dolan, who is the Lemur Mom.
Hi.
And then with her, we have Wendy Hammers, who is the director of the show, which I didn't even know that we were having her. I'm so excited that she's here.
Me too.
So I'm very excited to have you ladies here. What do we want to start with? You've got two shows that are coming up, and we want to make sure people know about them.
Right.
So let's get that out of the way and say where it is, where they can get the tickets, and when.
Okay. So it's the next show is Friday, October 25th, and it's at Cal State Northridge in the Little Theater. And all the tickets are available on lemurmom.com. So that makes it easy.
If you remember nothing else you hear today, just remember Lemur, Lemur.
Yes.
Mom.com.
Okay.
And that'll get you there.
So you can go then to the Friday, October 25th, 8 o'clock, CSUN Little Theater, Nordhoff Hall, but go to lemurmom.com to get tickets. But then you have another performance that's coming up.
Yes, on November 17th at Santa Monica Playhouse at 7 p.m. And that's also available at lemurmom.com. But there's very few tickets left. There's only about 5 tickets left.
There we go. That one's almost sold out, you guys. So
we have
if you
sold
want
out 99% of the shows that she's done. It's been amazing.
I believe it. I said I've heard nothing but incredible buzz about your show. The last time you were doing it, I don't remember what. I think I was like out of town.
You were helping a friend, I think.
Oh, good heavens. Yeah. I don't know what that was about. But I knew that there was like something that I absolutely couldn't be there, like it was immovable. I couldn't do that. But otherwise I would have been there. So I'm going to do everything I can to be there on the 25th. Okay, so everybody's like, well, what's the Lemur Mom? I don't know what that is. So start with, tell us what it is and how it came about.
Okay, so it's Lemur Mom because we can't all be tiger moms.
And too tired to be.
Who
has the time?
Right.
And it basically came about because when my son was diagnosed when he was 5, and I started going to support groups and seeing doctors, and I just felt like all of the parents I encountered really had it together. You know what I mean? And I felt like it is. And like the first advice I got was get a lawyer, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I have an acting background, and I just started writing about these experiences to help myself process them. And the image I came up with was a lemur, like clinging to a branch, big-eyed, staring into the dark, like don't know what I'm doing, you know, but soft and cuddly and loving. But so that was where that idea kind of came from.
So how do you get from that? Because so you're this wonderful creative person who has this theatrical background, and that's buzzing around in your head, right? But there are a lot of people who have ideas buzzing around in their head. How do you get from that to doing a stage show and getting Wendy to direct? How did that happen?
Great question. Okay, so I wrote the first piece, and there's a show called Expressing Motherhood. It's a storytelling show, and so I submitted it to that, and then presented it there, and it got kind of really good feedback, so that kept me going. And so I wrote about 3 more pieces and did them at Expressing Motherhood on another show called Listen to Your Mother. And so I had 3 pieces then, and they had all, been honed and crafted and had gotten good response. And so that was when I went, I want to do, I want to do the whole thing. So I started Anne Lamott is a huge just inspiration to me, and her book.
I'm now a fan of Lemur Mom.
She has seen me Lemur Mom, which was amazing. But so her book, Bird by Bird, says, is it okay to cuss on this show? Or no.
We can always bleep.
Okay, she says to write shitty first drafts.
Oh, that's fine. We can say that
okay. So that's what I did. I just wrote about all of these experiences. I just kind of vomited it out, and then I had all these pages, and I had these 3 honed pieces, and then that was when I was like, I need help. And I started looking for a director and got hooked up with Wendy, and she's been key in finding the story and the through line, because it can't just be all these experiences. It had to have an arc.
And it's always easiest to get the perspective on what your story is when it's not you.
Yes.
Meaning, as you said, all this fabulous stuff is swarming around in your head. How do you make sense out of it? So it's always helpful to have a sounding board. And I just want to say, for any creatives that are listening, moms, dads who think, I would like to get in touch with what my story is and what I'm going through with my journey with my children. When you say you had 3 separate stories, each piece was 5 minutes, 7 minutes. They're not major long pieces, but they're just the kernel of what you want to say is there. And so we connected through the woman who runs Expressing Motherhood, Lindsay Cavett, introduced us.
Wonderful.
We started, she's wonderful, and that show was great. And we started working together, and Megan came and sat down in my office and just read me everything she had. First, I saw a videotape of her. She had done a TEDx talk, and I fell in love with her before I ever met her because she is the trifecta, as I like to say. She's a fantastic writer, like funny as all get out. And then she's a seasoned actress. You're very, very modest to say you have an acting background. She was with a theater company for a decade. She's done a ton of work. But so she's got the great writing, the great acting, and then a story that's compelling, that's worth telling. Because in my business, I have to turn down about 90% of the people who come to me who say they want to do a solo show. Because a lot of them want to do the hangnail show, which is they had a hangnail. They feel they need to spend an hour telling strangers in the dark theater about it. I'm like, no, that's not a show.
Right.
This is a show.
Right.
And any of your listeners know this kind of wild journey that you never could have expected, that you didn't plan for, that you didn't ask for, suddenly this is your life. And how are you going to make sense? And this play has a way, in such a funny, heartfelt way, of really, delving into, this is what it feels like. No, you're not crazy. But if you're crazy, I'm crazy too. We're all crazy in the same way, so I guess we're not that crazy. It's like really shows you what it feels like to walk through these challenges with your children.
Absolutely. Well, we should show them because apparently we have
a clip.
The clip.
Okay. Fantastic.
So let's go to the clip and then we'll come back and talk.
Just saw Lemur Mom.
Lemur Mom.
Lemur Mom.
Starring Megan Dolan.
It was hands down the best way to spend a Saturday night.
I'm sure that I'm too helicoptery and I hover over him and I need to teach him independence, but he screams and cries and flaps and growls and I don't know what to do, Mia. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do, Mia. Tell me what to do.
I don't know if I'm still laughing or I'm still crying, but I'm definitely still feeling. They say that everybody has a story to tell, but I doubt many people can tell it as well as Megan did.
You think I have ADHD? No, I don't know. The first thing I do is Google celebrities with ADHD.
She has the ability to speak her truth, but then it extends out and it makes you feel you can go on the journey with her.
I will never be a tiger mom, and that's okay. I'm a lemur mom.
This woman expresses everything I went through with my son.
And I don't think it's just for other people who can relate to being a Lemur Mom. I think it's for all parents.
It just gives us hope.
An amazing, amazing evening. Thank you.
I'm so grateful.
I'm so glad I saw it. I'm a new mom, and
I'm pretty convinced I may be a Lemur Mom, and I'm so very inspired.
It was brilliant.
Welcome back. That was the Lemur Mom, and we're here with the Lemur Mom right here, right now, Megan Dolan, and the director of the show, Wendy Hammers. And the show is coming back to the LA area Friday, October 25th at 8 p.m. at the CSUN Little Theater, which is Nordhoff Hall. And if you want tickets to that, you should get them right now. And that's, you go to lemurmom.com.
You got it.
That's where you get the tickets. Now, there is another performance, and that's Sunday, November 17th at 7 p.m. at the Santa Monica Playhouse, which is in Santa Monica. And you can also get the tickets for that at lemurmom.com, but it's almost sold out.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a handful
So,
of tickets.
if you want them, like if you're hesitating even slightly, you're going to lose out. So you
Right.
better, with both of them. And I expect that the other one will sell out too, so you better move. And I know everybody cries later on and says, well, I just I wanted to, I meant to, I was going to get tickets. No, if you want to see it, you better move, shake a leg, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
Okay, so... But
So in terms of the process, I just
Yeah,
want to say
yeah.
quickly, so Megan brought this material, and we had to figure out what was the through line. What
Yes,
what
right.
what are we after here? And she just felt like she was ill-equipped to be a mama of a child that was on the spectrum. And then by the end of the show, she realizes, guess what? With all of her wonderfulness and all of her challenges and own insecurities, she is in fact the perfect mom for this child, as are all of your listeners the perfect parent, even though a lot of times it probably doesn't feel that way.
Right,
So
right.
I wanted to make sure, first of all, this is a flat out comedy. I want to say that.
Right.
Every time I tell people about the show, I go, oh, it's about autism. It's hysterical. They're like, what? But the fact is that there are a lot of really crazy and funny things that happen, and she has found a way to tell those stories, illustrate them. We use props and costumes. There's a lot of color in the show. There's beautiful projections. There's music. There's a lot going on, and in a way that's not overwhelming, just really a delightful
It
ride.
enhances the story.
And I think the best thing we can say about it is we've had a lot of people come to the show who do not have children who are dealing with this, and they're equally moved because anybody can relate to trying to find your way and trusting yourself and wanting the best for your family and just trying to make sense out of who you are as a parent, as a woman, and all of that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Incredible. And so when did you first do the show? What has been like the trajectory?
So the very first performance of this whole show was last November. I think it was November 17th because we're
When you
doing
were
it.
on.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Was I on? When was I?
You were on like right
Yes,
before
I think
it was going
that's
to
right.
happen.
That's
so it's
right.
Just
Yes.
a little bit more,
Yes.
less than a year.
Right,
So,
right.
okay,
And that
great.
was
And so now,
yes.
but weren't you like living in Texas then? No?
No.
But you Skyped in.
I Skyped in. I was in Long Beach.
Long Beach.
Which seems like Texas.
Which seems like Texas.
It's almost
It was
as far.
hot like
With
Texas.
traffic at 4 or 5, it could take 6 hours.
I was totally thinking that you were like in another state.
No,
But see,
no.
That's the menopause. So, that's.
There's so many
that's
things
just-
to blame it on. It could be so many things at this point, right?
Right. Okay, so well, I'm glad, good for you that you Skyped in from Long Beach, because I encourage people to Skype in all the time, and they're like, no, it's so.
I wanted to come in, so this time I was
Well,
like,
yeah,
but
but
that
once
was
you've
really-
been here once, you'll be like fuzzy slippers next time from Long Beach.
She's wearing them right now.
Right,
They're under the desk.
exactly. Okay, so now doing it again, like, come on, what's the hope here? Or you want to take it someplace else after here?
Well, okay, so there actually are going to be more shows.
Good.
I'm doing shows at Cal State Long Beach in January, and they
Yay.
will be on my website soon. The tickets are on sale. And then I'm actually going to Tucson taking the show in February. Anat Banyel, she wrote a book.
that name,
Yes. I'm forgetting the name of her book right now. But she saw my show. I did it in Northern California, and so she's bringing me in to do it for 150 special needs teachers at her training in Tucson. So that's where I'd really like it to go. I'd like for it to be, it could be at things like that, or I'd like to travel with it.
Yeah, it works really well going into the community.
And I did some shows at Long Beach City College for a class. And the response from these, 19, 20-year-olds, everyone had something to say. Like either they were on the spectrum, they knew someone. This one kid said, he's like, my mom had 6 kids, 2 of whom are on the spectrum, and I never stopped to think of what it was like for her. And he wanted to bring his mom. It was,
so sweet.
and that I wasn't expecting,
Right.
from that generation. So that's exciting to me that it could go to colleges.
Yeah. And so for people who are watching, because a lot of times we have viewers all over the country and really around the world, and they will get angry at me sometimes and go, well, Shannon, you showed us something, but it's happening in LA.
Right.
And I can't
Right.
get to it in LA, and what are you doing for me lately?
Right.
But I like to point out to them that, things can come to where they are if
Right.
they're interested. So
And
you would
if
go.
they're
I would
inspired.
go.
Right.
Yes, that would be if I had someone and wanted to bring Lemur Mom to their town and they could find a little theater and
There
be
you go.
the producer. Absolutely.
And
I
it
would
would
go.
make a
Yes.
great fundraiser for a school or an organization. And she's doing one in February
Yes,
next year.
for
that's-
We Are Brave Together.
Wonderful.
Jessica
So-
Pate's. Yes.
Wonderful. And it's not like it's not a huge set. You can travel
No,
and
it's just a
pretty much
trunk
be in
and
any theater.
an exercise ball.
Do it in a school auditorium. if you had to.
Wonderful.
And I did it when I did it in Northern California. I did not have all of my props. I just did it with the projection. So yeah, it can
Fabulous.
travel.
But
Sure.
in Northern California, this is the name dropper part.
Yes.
This is when Anne Lamott, the great writer Anne Lamott, saw the show and loved it.
She sat in the front row.
And
Yes.
was very
Were
supportive.
you aware of that?
Oh yes, yes, I was very aware
Yes,
of
in
that.
between
Yes.
hyperventilating and texting me going,
Yes.
Anne Lamott's here!
Yes,
very
and she was lovely. And afterwards we did a Q&A and she was the first one with her hand up and she asked me, the first question was, how's your son?
Yeah, well, that was going to be my
Yeah.
next question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is, so where are you now?
So now, the play takes place when he first gets diagnosed and he's 5 and he's now almost 10.
Okay.
And we had 2.5 years of ABA, 40 hours a week of ABA at school.
on you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And he just got that support he needed for social situations. And it was just, what was key for him, it was like his anxiety was greater than his need to connect. And to
Yes.
him it was just like kids are they're loose cannons. Like, I don't want any part of it.
A lot of us feel that.
I know, right? But he was just like, he made his decision, and so they gave him support, and he connected. He's got 3 very good friends now, and I'll never forget one day he said, "Mommy, it's more fun to do things with friends than by myself." And it's like once he made that connection, you know, there's still situations where it's like if he's going over to his friend's house and another kid is coming over, he's like,
what are the rules?
Right. He's like, I'm not, you know, and he needs someone to go in there with him and kind of, you know, it's definitely,
And
he
tell me
has
about the dog.
Oh, okay. So there's a part in my show where some of the advice I get is to get a dog, right? And we put that off for as long as possible. And we literally just got a dog on Sunday, and he's adjusting to our family. He's a little skittish. And my daughter's having a hard time because the dog has attached to me and follows me around. And my daughter wants, you know, him to follow her around. But my son is so sweet. He understands. Like, he's like, oh yeah, the dog wants mommy. Like, I get it. And he's just happy that he'll give him some kisses and then he goes on his way. But like, it's almost like he understands, like, he needs time, you know.
It speaks to how empowered he feels that he is now in a position where he can make a decision and say, Mom, listen, I know what's going on. Like, he feels, I don't know, I think it makes him feel like a grown-up. In a way, which is
right, to see this little dog that's nervous and anxious, and he's like, oh, I get that.
Doesn't it make you mad when people put out that line that individuals on the spectrum don't have empathy and compassion? And you just want to go, you know, who wrote that into text somewhere that everybody like decided to spread that around? I want to know what mechanism that was, because let's spread a new rumor, because it's not true.
It's not true at all.
Think about the
compassion and the empathy for the dog that he's saying that the dog needs you. I mean, there's a whole lot in that, as you were saying. That's
talking about a highly sensitized child, and it's like they're more
deeply
compassion,
intuitive, you know. Yes.
But you have other children, so do you just have the 2?
Yes, I just have the 2. Yes.
Okay, and how old is your daughter?
She just turned 8.
And so how is she, because I think that siblings of individuals that are on the spectrum grow to be the most incredible people on the face of the planet. Because they tend to be more patient, they tend to be more flexible, they tend to be people who seek to help the world make a better place. But at 8, that's a lot to expect of somebody, right? I would hope she's not living up to that yet.
No,
but how is she at 8?
Yeah, no, she describes herself as having a very tender heart. And she's very, but it's interesting though too, because we didn't really realize what was going on with my son until he was 5, so she was 3, so she was kind of socialized, like watching him, you know. So sometimes she takes her cues from him, but we realized with her, because in preschool she told us, I don't talk at school, and we were like, well, that's interesting. But for her desire to connect was greater than that fear, and so we knew, like, okay, this is just her kind of following in her brother's footsteps, but she really has a different trajectory.
And both of the children are portrayed in the play, and they're very different characters.
And you portray them?
Yes.
It's the one-woman show.
Yes.
And so have the kids seen the show?
They haven't. There's a lot of profanity in the show.
My kind of show.
You're going to love it. I'm excited for you to see it, actually.
But my son knows that I wrote a show about when he wouldn't talk. And he seems okay with that. I might need to revisit it if it does, like, you know, kind of take off or something to really talk about it. But
it's a very interesting thing, and we often, you know, when we have parents on the show, and because you had been on before, I think I talked about it with you last time. I was like, is it okay to identify you as, you were like, I'm doing a one-woman show.
Yeah, she's out
there
herself.
A secret, Shannon. But it is a dicey little thing that we always have to consider, like, what it is. I mean, I have a conversation with my son almost on a daily basis about, is it okay for me to talk about this? Is it not okay for me to talk about this? And because my son is now 16, when he was like 14, he said, just remember that I have to live with whatever you say.
Okay.
And it was like, oh my gosh,
I know.
That's a big responsibility, kid.
And working on solo shows of personal nature like this comes up a lot. You know, you do have to consider your family. And so the question is, are you telling your story? Are you, it's really her perspective. This is what she went through as a mom. And yes, of course, but there's nothing in the show that is offensive or in any way saying anything that would be uncomfortable for the child. It's just she's telling her version. This is how I survived these challenges.
Right.
I got through it, and this is what it looked like. And I find that we've seen a lot of people who are dealing with this who come to the show, and they're so grateful that they're not alone in it. They go, "Oh, you were telling my story." It's like, were you hiding in the bedroom and writing down everything I say? It's just like my life.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Because it really is my story of navigating, you know, play dates and all of these things.
Well, who else's story could you tell?
Right.
You gotta
That's
tell
right.
your story, right? But really remarkable. I honestly have heard such great things about it.
Thank you.
And that it's hilarious and funny, and obviously you are two very funny ladies. And so, you know, we didn't really talk about what your background was. We just said that, you know, but you do have a background in theater and acting.
Yes.
And you were saying that she was part of a theater company for 10 years.
20 years,
20
actually.
years.
The Elephant Theater Company. I was a founding member of the Elephant.
We have
yes.
friends in common.
Really?
Sure,
oh,
yes.
great. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And so, how did you get into? Because do you specialize in the one-person
I do.
show?
As a director, I do. Yeah. In fact, I have not attempted to direct shows that were not just one actor. Because
well, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I have in my background. I've been a professional stand-up comic for 30 years, and I've been an actor since I was a little girl, and I understand the need to take something that's passionate, that's boiling inside of you, that's brewing, and get it out on the page and on the stage. And so it's fun for me to help midwife these projects.
That's awesome.
But that's the only solo show. I've directed 5 of them. And we one that was just in London and Scotland this summer, a show called A Very British Lesbian.
All
so
right.
good. It's so good.
And then Lemur Mom is doing all these performances everywhere. And they're like my children. I'm like,
Yes.
go fly. I'm so proud of them.
Wendy has a phenomenal solo show also called Ripe, which she's just retired because she's working on.
Yeah,
a
I'm
new
doing it
one,
around the
but
country, but
she's
no
a
more in LA. So.
amazing actor and a force on stage. That
Well, wonderful.
it's incredible.
But
Yes.
we have a good time. We're working.
Yes.
But yeah, I have to say, you know, they say if you want a job done, give it to a busy person.
Right.
Give it to a busy mom who has a child on the spectrum, because
Yeah.
she fast-tracked herself. We developed and put the show together, block staged it, and put it on its feet, and got it in front of an audience in literally 5 months, which is unheard of. Usually at least a year in that process.
Well, but I had the bulk of it written.
I know,
we had
but
to
I'm
shape
telling you,
it down. Yeah.
for someone who is as busy as she is, she was more organized and more on top of it, because she knew she had to be. Because when the school bell rings, that part of her life is over, and then she goes back to the mom hat.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have to.
Well, we should say that. I mean, you continue to be a mom. You're like very
Yeah.
involved. It's not like you know that goes
Oh my
away.
God, right. Yeah, you know.
How is that balancing? Being,
It's a great question.
writing,
I don't know
performing,
that there is a balance. I struggle with that when I'm really in a run of a show, because I did it at the Whitefire Theater
Right.
in the spring every Sunday for 6 weeks. And Sunday mornings I would wake up and it was like Christmas. I was so excited to go and do the show, you know, and it's this incredible experience. And then I don't sleep the night, you know, that night, because I'm so much adrenaline. And then to wake up the next
Monday
day
morning.
and nobody cares that I did the show, you know, and it's really kind
Lunches
of
still need to be made.
Let
doesn't defer to
no. So it is. I'm learning how to navigate that,
Right.
you know, to kind of have to get my sea legs back and jump back into the mom life. But I don't have any answers for that, really.
We were talking about this before we came on here, but I do believe she's a better artist because she's a mom, and she's a better mom because she's an artist doing her work.
Doing this has made me realize, like, oh, this is what I do. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do on the planet, you know? So I got to find a way to work it in, and really working on letting go of the guilt, because it is good for them to see me happy and fulfilled and working hard at something I love, you know?
and being passionate about that work. Because I think too often our kids now see people working.
Right.
And they need to see people being passionate about their work.
Right.
We all need to be doing that.
That's for sure. I have a 24-year-old son. So in addition to being a director and an actor, I am definitely a mom. And I feel like that is my legacy, that I encouraged him through him seeing me be creative, expressive in my life, that he is going for things that he loves. And that's a good message, I think.
What does your son say about what he wants to be when he grows up right
It's
now?
a great question. It was an inventor.
Okay.
And then he wanted to be a YouTuber.
Oh, well, okay, yes.
I need to check in with him again, but he really loves science, he loves math, he loves to read.
That's awesome.
Yes. He likes
Really?
video games. We have to limit it because he gets very,
Yeah.
into those.
That's called being a boy on the planet right now,
Right,
right?
right.
And what about your daughter? We don't want to leave her out.
Oh,
What does
she wants
wanna
to be a writer, singer, performer.
Oh.
She writes songs.
That's
She was
perfect
in
for
The
her.
Lion King this summer. Yes, she's all about performing.
So when do you think you'll let them see the show?
That's a great question.
really
I had
good
a very good friend say, because I was kind of talking to her about it, I'm like, is it okay that I wrote this? Because I felt so compelled to write it.
Yeah.
And she said, I think it's the type of thing that when he's like 20, you could sit down with him and watch it and he would get it,
Uh-huh.
But I don't feel like I want him to see it now.
Anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, you
Just
follow your gut.
almost because like, I don't know that he wants to see me like that. I
Right.
throw myself under the bus and I like let it all out. And I don't know how,
That may
yes.
not be his business right now.
Right.
Or helpful or useful to him right, now.
But
When
I think once he gets to a certain age, he'll be able to maybe look back and go, oh, well, that was probably
that's what's
tough for him.
going
Yeah, right.
Also, she
Right.
plays him, and I play my son in my show, and it's the same thing.
Yes.
But it was many, many years before Griffin saw my work, and it is a little odd for them. But when
Yeah.
they're ready, when they're young adults, that's the time where they.
And
can
I
handle
don't
it.
think I would be like don't think I would invade his teenage years and be throwing those up on stage.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah.
feel right to me. But
Although I think I do that here sometimes to my son. As you say that, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm doing that. I try to clear things with
I
him
do
ahead of
portray
time.
my husband, and he
Oh my God,
he got through it.
hilarious.
Well, and so I didn't want to ask, but you're still married because a lot of times people aren't.
I know.
Right?
I am still
but
married.
And
Got a
so
great husband. He's a sweetheart.
And
He
so
is.
he's a support. That's
Yes.
part of why you can have the time to be able to go
and my in-laws are amazing. They
Oh,
live a mile and a
wonderful.
half from us. The kids go to their house all the time, and
Wonderful.
that's a big reason that I can do this as well.
But
Well,
the dynamic of the relationship between a couple when they're raising a child that's going through this is difficult, funny, challenging, sometimes sexy, sometimes exhausted. It's everything.
Yeah.
And it's all in the play, and it's so funny.
Wonderful.
Really.
Well, I'm still happily married as an autism parent too, but we make jokes all the time about how someday, because the statistics often
Yes.
are quoted,
Yeah.
and we see it a lot in the community. Although there's a new study that says that it's either people get divorced or they go closer together.
Okay.
But we always joke that someday we're going to come home and there'll be a divorce decree on our door because it will just be assumed. Like,
Someone will have delivered it to
we
you.
just issued it for you.
You had nothing to do with it, just it was time.
Just
Paperwork,
like,
yeah.
we found out that
Yeah.
you've been married this long and you have a child on the spectrum, so we went ahead and issued it for you. No need to file anything, right? Because, so I didn't want to assume, but I'm so glad
Yes.
to hear that you
Yes.
have that support.
Yes.
But I agree about these kind of crisis things in life either completely destroy or bring people together.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right.
Very
Right.
much true.
Well, good to see that you have not only survived, thrived,
yes.
and have been able to take your experience and make it something that other people can have a place to emotionally experience what they're going through
Yes.
in a way that's helpful to them. What a great thing to do.
You know what? It is so rewarding. There's just nothing else I'd rather do. And I've had some audiences filled with, special needs parents that totally get it.
Yeah.
And in those audiences, the laughs come so hard and so fast and furious. And it's funny because other people that aren't in this situation have told me afterwards, they're like, I wasn't sure it was okay to laugh,
But if you've lived it,
but
you
you've
have
lived
permission.
it, you
There
get
you
it.
go.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. So let's say again, so there's 2 performances.
Coming up, yes.
But it's coming up immediately.
Right,
But then
right.
you'll keep us posted on when there's
Yes.
more. So Friday, October 25th at 8
CSUN.
p.m. at CSUN, the Little Theater at Nordhoff Hall. That's Friday, October 25th. Then there's Sunday, November 17th at 7 p.m. at Santa Monica Playhouse. That's in Santa Monica. You should go to lemurmom.com to get
Yes.
tickets. Please know that there's only a handful of tickets
For Santa Monica.
for Santa Monica Playhouse on the 17th.
And the show
So-
on the 25th sounds far away, but it's not. Isn't it like a week from Friday?
Yes.
Oh, it's like-
It's around in the corner. Yeah.
Wait,
so
yeah,
it's-
is it a
it's
week from
between
Friday?
now
That's
and
right. It's a
Halloween.
week from
It's
Friday. Yes.
Actually, it's a week from today.
Right, a week from today.
It's a week
That's
from
right.
today,
Good.
you
Well
guys.
done. Yes.
So, you
And
need to
there-
get your tickets now because it's going to sell out. And don't come crying to me when it's sold out and you couldn't get tickets. Yes, I know them, but I can't get you tickets. There's only a limited number of seats, so
And for people
get your
in the
tickets.
South Bay, there are shows coming up in January at Cal State Long Beach. So look at my website; they'll be up there soon.
And for people who are very far away that are listening or watching, if we want Lemur Mom in your neighborhood, it's possible.
Okay.
Just go to your organization, your community, your school, and then contact us through the website lemurmom.com, and we can figure out how to make that happen.
Create an event. I mean, you know, people are always looking for fundraising ideas.
Yes.
Perfect for
And
that.
will write to us. So you what you do is you go, okay, I'm going to do a fundraiser. You have them come do the fundraiser with
Yeah,
you.
it's a parents' night out.
Right.
Or a ladies' night out, however you want to do it, and people have a great time and raise money.
Yeah, and
awareness.
laugh your tuchus
Yes.
off.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
There
Exactly.
we go. Okay, well, thank you, ladies, so much for being
Thank you,
here.
Shannon.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.